welcome to another Checiegirl Creations video. So today I will be doing my May bullet journal spread in this stationery island journal. I will be doing the May spread as well as decorating the previous month title pages. It's something I've been meaning to get to for a while, and I thought I might as well get to it and I would film it. So this is one of my April weeks. As you know, I did have to take a break in April, so everything kind of fell apart. So I thought I would leave it plain to show you guys before I updated it. And I'd started like February, but I'd never gotten to it. And I thought it would be fun to add some colours with these watercolour pastels by Hobbycraft. It's a pack of 24. They are non-toxic, so I'm pretty sure they are meant for kids. And they're water-soluble crayons. So I'll be using those, a variety of colours, as well as like some round paintbrushes, some stamp like sets. One of them is from AliExpress, so it doesn't like have a name or anything, and those just have like the social media icons, which I like to use to track my followings. I will be using a stamp from The Works and by Make and Create with like the peacock stamps. I'll be using that, as well as another stamp set by The Craft Place, also from The Works, and that's like a journaling stamp kit, so it's like kind of made for bullet journaling. And the pens I will be using, oh yes, the stamp pad I'm using is by Memento, and it is Tuxedo Black. Is that little like teardrops stamp, or by Tsukineko, by the way. And the pen I'll be using is the Pentel Energel liquid gel ink pen, size 707, or 0.7, sorry. Yeah, this is a great pen. It's not permanent, but since I don't normally like get all painty and stuff with my spreads, that's okay. So I used that. So I did have to like be careful where I knew I wanted to add color when it came to like doing this spread. I will also be using a Faber-Castell grip color marker in black for doing like the brush lettering. Not very fancy brush lettering, very basic. And I'll be using a highlighter from the Pastel Wilko highlighter set. You can see them all on screen now. There's two sets, the pastel one and the regular one. So I'll be using that kind of peachy color. And yeah, I think that's it. I think I've already mentioned the round paintbrushes that I'll be using. And that's pretty much what I'll be using for these spreads. If there's anything else, I will point it out to you. So as you can see, I've drawn up my calendar spread. I like my calendar to be on one page instead of like a double spread, mostly because it's more like a place to maybe put birthdays and stuff and like my goals for the month that I can then put in more detail in my weekly spreads. So my weekly spreads are quite big boxes because sometimes I do have quite busy days, especially when my work schedule is filled. And I have my weekend days like smaller, like half the box size, because I'm not supposed to be doing anything on the weekends, especially not any work things. I don't stick to it, but I'm not supposed to. And I have 4 trackers. I have a tracker for doing daily art, for drinking 2 liters a day, for reading daily, and for getting to bed by midnight. And basically since I've already like set it up, I will go to a previous spread, just put the stamps over top, line it up, and then I already have like the spacing right, and then I can just stamp it. What I normally do is I do like all the calendar and all the weekly spreads at once, so that I can stamp kind of like a conveyor belt. But since I was doing the video, I only did 1 weekly spread, and once I turned off the camera, I did the rest. So I can do that kind of conveyor belt stamping. And I also like to like choose a decorative stamp to kind of have a bit of a theme. So I did choose one of the stamps from that peacock set. I've used them before, but I was too lazy to go through my stamps, so I just used it again. And I kind of use that to kind of decorate the spreads. I write in the dates. I stamp most of my stuff, mostly because my handwriting isn't the best. So I'll write in the dates, the month and like the year. I'll also do that at the top of the weekly spreads. I'll put like May week 1, the dates like within that week, which is like the 4th and like 4th to the 10th. I'll put like the decorative stamp, then I'll put a banner for like my to-dos. I also have a banner on my calendar page for my goals, as well as like a box underneath the calendar section for like to-dos, like big to-dos that I want to remind myself of so that I can schedule in my week. And then I draw out the to-do boxes. I use a ruler mostly because I'm terrible at doing straight lines and I don't need it to be perfect, but when I follow the like the dots on the pages, I always go so wonky. So I just decided to use a ruler. I also stamp the dates for the week, as well as like the date and the decorative stamp. You can see I've already like stamped the like tracker section for my social media, and at some point in that second to do box on the right, I will have some other social media icons, so specific things I need to get done for like YouTube, Patreon, Instagram, and photos I need to get like take for videos or posts. So I have like a business to do and then like a to do for everything else, like personal stuff. If I have like a birthday card to make, that kind of thing. Then I stamp in the dates on the calendars. I also like to highlight the days and the dates with the highlighter, as well as like the goal banner. Yeah, so like since I wasn't going very artsy, I did want to have some color in my spread so it wasn't just black and white, so I thought I would use highlighters. And what's perfect is, even though the stamp pad is permanent but the pen isn't, so sometimes it kind of does pick up the pen, so I do try to remember to highlight before I write the dates in, but it doesn't really pick up the ink too much, which is good. So I use the highlighters to add a splash of color, and that's enough for me. But I did want to have some title pages, so I didn't do that for January. I just have like 2020 at the beginning of the bullet journal. I haven't figured out how I want to decorate that yet, so I didn't do that in this video, but I did do all the other months, so from February to May. So I've picked out like a light blue, I think more like a darker blue, like a purpley pink, and some teal, and I think some like orange. And I just kind of scribble it on the inside of the lid of like the container and just kind of wet it with the brush. It's a bit chunky, so you kind of want to break down those chunks. I didn't focus on breaking down the chunks perfectly. I don't know if you can, but I wasn't too bothered about that. I just wanted to get some color, and I just was kind of adding it like randomly on the peacock, as well as that border that was stamped. So I had like the blues for like the body of the peacock and the teal for the body of the peacock, and then I used the purpley pink and the orange for like accents on its feathers. And then I proceeded to stamp some more stamps from that same peacock stamp set in like the corners to like kind of frame it a little bit more, because it seemed a bit sparse once I put in like the date. Sorry, the month. So like on each of these title pages I will write the month, kind of brush letter it, so not as like angular as like the rest of the spread. I thought I would make it a little bit more curly, so I did that. Just with the side of the marker I told you about before, I don't have any brush markers. I kept on meaning to get them, but I was like telling myself not to, and I kind of regret it now, especially since I can't pop to the shops. But these markers are fine for now, and I think once everything is over, I will probably get some brush markers. I guess I could get them delivered, but I don't need them now. I can survive without them. So yeah. Let me see. Oh yes, I did want to talk about the pages. Now I can't remember what GSM they are. I will try to remember to find that information so that when I put in the material listings, what like materials I use, I can put the GSM. But the paper dealt really well with the water. Now it didn't get like extremely like soaked like a watercolor painting would. I would just kind of like wet the brush, use it kind of like work the pigment out, maybe wet it a little bit more, and I didn't want to go in too like wet. But then some I did add a bit more water depending like on what I was doing, and it warped a little bit like expected, but it actually dealt really well with it, and none of the pigment went through. Now I don't know what it would be like with watercolors. Alcohol markers is a definite no. That would go through. It doesn't go through with the highlighters. It doesn't really go through with the pen. You can kind of see through the page, but like it doesn't properly go through. So I'm impressed with this paper. I'm really happy with how it is, and it's kind of nice to paint on smooth paper. I normally paint on textured paper, so that's interesting. So that was February's. I'm on to March. I wanted to do like a kind of floral spring wreath to go with it, and then like March in the middle of that wreath. So I got out like a kind of pink and peach and yellow, some like teal and green for the leaves, and I think that's it for the colors. And then I proceeded to like kind of doodle around the flowers, doodle in the middle with like both the marker and the Pentel pen. And that was it. Very simple. These are very simple. I didn't want to go like too intricate with them. But yeah, no, the paper held up really well. What I will say about the water soluble markers, I feel as if I've done a review on them. I might do another one. I haven't used them in a long time, but they're not highly pigmented, but they're just enough just to kind of add a splash of color. So like what I like about them is they're very soft. They're a bit like lipstick, and you kind of roll them up like lipstick. Very soft, like they don't really keep their point. And what I think will be useful is like if you're kind of just, maybe you might have like your bullet journal or like some kind of travel journal, and you might be like going somewhere. I know this isn't the case at the moment, but in the future when we can, you might be going somewhere and you might like you may not have a lot of your art supplies, but you can have a few of these colors, and you can like, the photos you stick on, you can add some splashes of color, so they are quite light. I think you can get it a bit more pigmented, but I did keep it more on the light side. I didn't really put a lot of pigment on. And yeah, I think it's a really nice to add splashes of color to like your bullet journal, your like travel journal. Yeah, I think they're nice. I don't know if Hobbycraft does them anymore, but if they do, I don't think the price was like that high. I think it was quite reasonable. I would say it'll be fun to like play with, and they're very transparent as well. I did draw around something to get that circle shape, and I made a mistake in not like rubbing away the pencil too much so you can see the pencil through, because they are very transparent. So that's what I also like about it. Like they're very transparent, they're very watercolor like in that way. And yeah, so I would say these are nice and fun. You can pop a few in like your pencil case and just kind of go with it. You can either like rub, like kind of scribble it off on a palette, or you can touch the paintbrush like straight to it, and that would probably make a better pigment. So I jumped to May now. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do for April, so I jumped to May, and I thought that angular kind of shape would, like pattern would be cool. So I'm just putting like different like triangles, and then I'm splashing the same colors I'm using, just kind of fill up some of that white space. And then once I wrote the title, I kind of doodled some arrows, and then I doodled on some smaller triangles with the Pentel pen. And I want to apologize for keeping getting my head in screen. Like this is a serious problem. Yeah, I might like try to experiment with some like different angles when filming, because oh my word, I keep getting my head in the frame. But yeah, oh, and I can't remember if I mentioned this, but if you would like to see this in real time with real-time commentary, you can become a Patreon from as little as $3 a month, and you'll get early access to my Friday videos, which will be in real time. All of those links are down below. It'll also be in an iCard as well. If I have done a review on these watercolor crayons, I will also put that in an iCard. Yeah, and of course all materials will be listed down below. So on to April. I figured since the abstract look went really cool with the May one, that was actually my favorite one. I loved how that one turned out, as well as like the flower wreath. But like yeah, the triangle like geometric pattern went really cool. I thought I would go with that for April, because April I'd pick like green highlighter, which is strange because normally I go with like blue. But at least in the UK, this was like I think the driest and warmest April on record. So I guess it kind of matches. There wasn't really any April showers to talk about. So I went with yellow, light green, dark green. Were those all the colors? Did I go with a blue as well, like a teal or something? I'm not too sure. Let's see. And again, same thing, just putting on like these really abstract blobby shapes. I put the title in, then I doodled some abstract blobby shapes. Oh, and I also splashed with black as well, one of the black crayons in there. Oh yes, I did put blue on as well. So yeah, that was April. I really liked how all of these turned out. May is definitely my favorite. Loved how May turned out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. We are coming to the end. If you did, please do give me a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. You can click the bell to get notified whenever I upload a new video. I am getting back to my schedule, so that'll be a new video every Friday. And yeah, so I really enjoyed this process a lot. Like I wasn't sure how this was going to go, how the paper was going to be hold up, but I was pleasantly surprised, and I can't wait to do like my New Year kind of spread thing. I might go with fireworks. who knows. So yeah, I really enjoyed this process. I hope you enjoyed watching. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I'm still predominantly using my left hand, so lots of left-handed videos are to come. So if you want me to do any challenges using my left hand, let me know. And yeah, so thanks again for watching. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next week. Bye.